from the Macina Minimi, from our young racers, to the big racers. Till nowadays, most of the people of us think about a very conservative product at e-bike. No, times are changing, and KTM has even their own racers which are just using e-bike. E-bikes for racing very hard enduros. And these racers are choosing our Macina Prowler. Here we go for the Macina Prowler Exonic, the finest bikes parts you can get on the market. So beside of the top of the line Fox suspension parts, you get also the very high-end carbon rim set from TT Swiss. It matches perfectly with the carbon frame of the Macina Prowler, so no glass fiber inside, just pure carbon fiber. And you get also the rear triangle in aluminium, which is very special kinematic setup. This very special kinematic setup means if you pedal a very steep climb, the tendency that the rear wheel or the complete bike moves backwards get compensated by the kinematic of the bike. So if you get very high torque on the crank, on the chain, the rear triangle gets a little bit out and prevents the falling back and the flipping back of you when riding very steep climbs. When going downhill and braking very hard, the rear triangle starts to get a little bit compressed, so this prevents you for flip over feeling when braking very hard. So it gives you a very safe riding and a very competitive riding feeling with this kind of bikes. This special kinematic you don't just find at the Prowler, you also find it at the Caboho, you find it at the Lycan and Chicana, but not that aggressive because of less travel. So we come to the Caboho, which are in a wider range of our e-bike usage with 160mm travel on the front and on the rear. You can do everything with this kind of bikes. Even you can fit a fender and carrier on these bikes. These are so-called LFC ready. You can also fit a light system if you want. Light cables are already integrated here in the rear and in the front. Top of the line, you get carbon frame at the Caboho Prestige, at the Caboho Master and at the Caboho E-Lite. This bike is the Caboho Master with this fancy color Space Galaxy and the orange rear triangle. Features are the same like we know from the Prowler already. Also just only with 625 watt-hour battery, only with the new Bosch generation 4 motor. Details will Gerhard tell you afterwards. All of these Cabohos are coming with air shocks, with piggyback, like you see here at the Caboho Master. And in that case, the Caboho Master also offers the new Fox 36 fork. So here we go with the Caboho aluminum versions, so the Caboho 2971, 2972, 2973, which makes the more or less entry level of the Cabohos. In that case you see the 2972 with this fancy plant green color. And don't forget about the Dimix. Dimix 27.5 on the rear, 29-inch in the front. You get Dimix at all of the Prowlers and all of the Cabohos, so very good grip on the rear and very precise steering performance because of this 29-inch front wheel. Here we go with the Macina Lycans. Macina Lycans are a very well sold e-bike category because of the very wide usage of these bikes as well, similar to the Cabohos. But these Lycans just coming in 27-inch front and rear tire size. So that means you can get these bikes also in XS frame size. So they are really good for lady bikes as well. You get these bikes also in 2 special lady bike specification in color scheme. That means Macina Glorious 271, like you see here, and Macina Lycan Glorious 272 in the entry level. So altogether there are 4 Lycan models, 2 Glorious and 2 standard color. All of these Lycans are coming with an air shock. In that case, for the 271, air shock front and rear, complete RockShox suspension system, 1x12 drivetrain, 4-piston brake system, as you know from KTM as a standard in these kind of bikes. So the Macina Chicanas are the real SUV bikes at the KTM range. They are really designed for the long tourings, not too heavy terrain. So that means 125mm travel on the rear, 130mm travel on the front. So the bikes are not too high, so it gives you a safe riding feeling with a bit lower position, body position, so it's more safety when getting on and off the bike. Together with the 29-inch tires, the new Johnny Watt tires, which are not that aggressive, but gives you a good grip and good riding performance in medium terrain. Together with these tires, it's a very safe and good overrolling performance of this bike, very safe bike, and these bikes are really good to equip with fenders, with carriers as well, so they are LFC ready, like you know from the Cabots and from the Lycan. But we show that these bikes can do this LFC very well with an even own model, the Macina Chicana LFC. Yeah? The Macina Chicana 291 is without, is the off-road version, so it's the top of the line. We go 292, 293 and 294. 294 is a bit of exception. It comes with the 500 watt-hour battery, but all the rest is 625 watt-hours. So as mentioned, LFC ready, and we go to the LFC original equipped bike, and let's see the Macina Chicana LFC. Okay, so here we are already with the Macina Chicana LFC. As you see, fully equipped with the light fender and carrier system. So it's not just a cheap aftermarket plastic parts, no, it's real aluminium fender on the rear, on the front, very stable aluminium rails for your panniers, and with the full integrated light on the rear Buschemüller, in the front 150 lux light move system, everything already mounted, assembled on our side from the factory, so ready to go with the LFC for the big comfortable tour. This kind of LFC sets you get for all of the Chicanas for sure. You get the same or similar 27.5 spec for the Lycans, and you get for sure for the Cabots carbon version and also Cabot aluminum version. Just call our factory, just call your dealer, you get the LFC set original made at KTM factory side.
We are proud to present you our new wheel set. It's called KTM Prime Trail Carbon. It's a new category beside the well-known XRC 1400 wheel from TT Swiss. It offers a weight of 1770 grams, and it's used in our cross-country hardtails and our full suspension bikes, for example Maroon and Scarp MT, for the second level beside the Xonic. We can see here all of the Bosch motors. There are no big changes on the mechanical side, but there are big changes on the software side of the Bosch Performance CX motor. You can see here on this presentation that the torque of the motor changed from 75 Newton meters to 85 Newton meters. So that means the motor is much stronger than the model year before. In this slide you can see the new torque curve of the Performance CX motor. It has been improved so that the 85 Newton meters are already available at 65 RPMs. Everyone knows the Kiox display from the past. There are some news available. Now you can have the full navigation in combination with your smartphone, and you can adjust your display modes by yourself. The new neon display is the high-end display of the Bosch range. It offers a 3.3 high resolution color display with a touch function. It offers some fitness functions. You can have the full navigation function. Therefore, a GPS chip is included inside this neon display. You have also the well-known lock function. When you pick off the display of the bicycle, the motor gets locked. And you can define your individual ride modes by yourself. Additionally, you can have the full connectivity by Wi-Fi and Bluetooth Low Energy to the well-known Bosch apps. For more comfort, we will offer a new seat post in our XL bicycles. It's designed for a higher load. It can catch up rider's weight from 150 kilograms in total. In model year 2020, we integrated the speed sensor already at the top bikes in the drop out of the frames. Now we increase the range of frames where this option is available. For this reason, we are using the different discs from Shimano you can see here on the screen. They all have an integrated magnet. As you can see here on the pictures, the sensor comes from the chainstay to the dropout of the bicycle frame. That reduces the danger of a malfunction.
So here we go with our eMTB hardtails. So these hardtails lineup is basically very similar to the lineup from last year. So you get the lineup with a team with the PowerTube 625 and the CX motor. You get the race with the PowerTube 500, so with the bit more narrow, bit smaller down tube for the 500 watt-hour battery. And you get the version for the Generation 3 with undercover for the Macina ride. The team, we have one example here from the team series. It's the Glorious in that case. It's a new frame for the Glorious because it's a 27.5. Last year we didn't have the 27.5 frames for the teams. So 27.5 frames new, but the look and the specification is very, very similar to the 29-inch frames. So also the full integrated PowerTube battery with the removable cover on the down tube. The Glorious or Lady version is coming with the new Shimano Deore 1x11 drivetrain. So a very clean looking and stable MTB for the ladies. The teams are offering a very wide range of usage. You get beside the Glorious, you get the LFC version, close to similar to the Jacana version, and you get also for the heavyweight guys and us, you get also a XL version. Our eMTB hardtail lineup got extended already in the past with the so-called Macina Scout. Next year we call these not Scout anymore, we call them Aera. They get a new frame, very special frame. We call them PTS frame, PowerTube Sport. And it's complete new redesigned revolutionary frame which got designed by our designer Gerald Peham, and he will explain you all the details about this PTS frame. Here we go.
I proudly present you our new PTS frame, the PowerTube Sport frame. This frame is built around the Bosch CX motor with the PowerTube 625 watt-hours. The frame has an alloy battery cover. The battery can be pulled out upright, and under this cover is also the charging plug and the lock for the battery. The heart of this frame is the circular power flow construction with the elevated chainstay which are connected with the main tube, and a metal motor cover which is necessary for closing the power flow of this frame. This construction makes a very stiff frame with a deep step over height. The tire clearance of this frame is very big for 27-inch wheels and 28-inch. This construction is good so we can use this frame in a bright way. So we use this frame in the casual mountain bike range, the trekking off-road range, and the on-road range.
So thank you, Gerald. Let's have a look to this PTS frame at the eras again. As mentioned, this is a frame for very wide usage with a rather low entry, so it's good for ladies, it's good for men. It's a real unisex frame with a real modern look. So no matter if you're elderly or a younger guy, so I would buy this kind of bike. It's really an attractive, sportive looking, low entry frame. You get this in this off-road version like you see here at the Aera 271. But you get also, for sure, as you know, as you're used to from KTM, you get it also with this LFC version. So Aera 271 or Aera 271 LFC, 625 watt-hours, CX motor. These are the key points of this Aera bikes. For customers with a little bit less budget, for customers who don't need a powerful, the extreme powerful Bosch CX motor, for customers who don't need this 625 watt-hours, they are happy with our new Aera 272. So Generation 3 performance motor, 500 watt-hour power pack from Bosch. And for sure you get this bike with the LFC version, Aera 272 LFC like here, or you get it naked as off-road version. So, and something completely new for next year are our so-called Grans. We know the name from the past as an urban bike, and now we have the new PTS frame adapted for the urban use, for the city use. So you get this big volume tires, 55mm wide, you get this strong carrier, 25 kilogram maximum load with this PTS frame. So it's a very safe concept for the city, and you get this frame not just with this PTS frame like you see here with this modern PTS frame. You get this bike also with a man frame, but in that case it's a 29-inch only version. And that's the man version to the PTS version what we saw already or just saw right now, but as mentioned with this 29-inch tires. As we know from the Aeras, we get also a Gran with the Performance Generation 3 motor with the 500 watt power pack battery and with this super robust 25 kilo carrier. You get this with the low entry and you get this also with the man frame. And here it is, the man version with this undercover battery system with the low entry top tube version and as mentioned in the 29-inch tires. So we are now at the trekking on-road versions of our KTM bikes. So last year we started already to make a more detailed, more clear differentiation between the sportive and the comfortable versions. Sportive one coming with the 42 tires, with the light carrier, with a rigid stem, with a non-suspension seat post. The comfortable one is with the 50mm tires, with the tour carrier, so with the extra rail for the panniers, with the suspension seat post and the jail saddle. But beside of this specification differentiation, we have different frame shapes when it comes to the lower entry frames. On the sportive side we have the PTS, and on the comfort side we have the extra low entry frame, the US frame. One model out of the sportive section I show you here right now, it's a Macina Sport 620. It's the PTS frame, what you can see here. You see how to open the cover, the aluminum cover. You see the battery located here, very low position, so low center of gravity, very stable riding feeling, very important. And it's also the charging port is covered with this battery cover, so no problem with dirt or rain inside the charging port. Very clean looking. Beside this features of the PTS, you see, okay, clearly rigid seat post, rigid stem, and the light carrier. Macina Sport P610. It's a new frame. It's the performance frame, so with the Generation 3 motor unit. The rest of the frame looks very, very similar to the Generation 4 system, but one important change, one important improvement is the cable routing. So the cable routing of the Generation 3 frames of the performance frame go straight through the headset into the frame. So very clean looking, no cable mess around here. So goes through the headset directly to the frame. So you get this cable routing as mentioned at all the new performance frames. One important point to know is you don't get an PTS frame at the Generation 3 bikes. So I show you now one bike out of the comfort lineup. It's the top product, the top of the line, the Macina Style 610 Neon display. You know already from Gerhard. The frame is basically the same like last year, the PT625 frame. And this year with the new, with the wider tires, with the 50mm tires, together with the new carrier, new ragtime carrier, Snapit 1 and 2 compatible. So KTM has a special system. You can use Snapit 1 and 2 for this kind of carriers. The Macina Style 610 Neon you get in the man version, like here, you get it in the lady version and in the US version. Here we have the US frame, the low entry frame. It looks like a very simple frame basically, but especially such an US frame, such a low entry frame is a very complicated frame in terms of engineering. The tricky thing is you need to get the stiffness of the frame. Also you're missing the top tube, so you have to do some really technical details, some special points at this frame to get the high stiffness, to get the good riding feeling. Such a good riding feeling, we just won the Stiftung Warentest test a couple weeks ago because of this very good, stiff and direct riding feeling. And our senior engineer, Robert Henrich, will tell you some details about the engineering of such a frame.
This frame is mainly known from the last year together with the Gen 4 motor. The handling of the battery and the charging port is similar as last year. To offer this frame also with the Gen 3 motor, we developed a new bracket for this frame. As usual on our one-tube frames, this frame has two hollow chambers. One is in the down tube and one is in the motor bracket. These hollow chambers are very important for the rigidity of our frame. Rigidity is very important for the driving of our frame. This excellent driving behavior was approved by the Stiftung Warentest in the last test. We also changed the cable routing of this frame. The cable routing now leads from the spacers and the top cap of the headset directly into the frame. You can find this frame on the models Macina Tour and Macina City.
So, thank you, Robert, for the tour, to the engineering tour. Just don't forget, we also have such a frame in the City lineup. For example, this City 610 belt. So this technology, Robert explains to you, comes also with a belt drive, so very low maintenance system for the very tough urban use. And now, last but not least, Gerald will show you some ideas of a one bike which might come in the future. Thanks, Gary.
A very nice project for 2021 will be our transport bicycle. It's a family bike, a utility bike, a sport gear, who knows? But for sure it's an e-bike for everybody, for every use and any time.
After all, thanks for your attention. Thanks for being with us in the last couple of minutes. I hope you enjoyed our tour through the Model Year 21 KTM lineup. I wish you all the best in the name of the R&D team. Good luck for Model Year 21.